Good afternoon to distinguished dignitaries present here, respected faculty members, proud parents, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome each one of you to the first year induction program 2026 of the School of Law, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Today marks the beginning of an extraordinary journey of our young law students, a journey that will shape them into advocates of justice, leaders of integrity, and responsible citizens of tomorrow. As Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Today, therefore, is not merely the beginning of an academic program. It is the beginning of a lifelong commitment to justice, ethics, and service to society. On behalf of the School of Law, SRM-IST, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to our esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, faculty members, parents, and our dear freshers. I extend my regard and welcome to the dignitaries here, Honorable Mr. Justice V. Ramasubramanian, Chairperson, National Human Rights Commission of India, and former Judge, Supreme Court of India. Mr. A.R.L. Sundareshan, Additional Solicitor General of India, Madras High Court. Mr. Vivek Sriram, Partner, Ketan & Co, Chennai. Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, Pro Vice Chancellor Law, SRM-IST. Professor Dr. Indranath Gupta, Dean, School of Law, SRM-IST. Dr. Anuradha Sai Baba, Faculty, School of Law, SRM-IST. I request everyone present to kindly rise for the Tamil Thaivarthu.
Light has always symbolized wisdom, knowledge, and truth. It is only fitting that we begin this journey of learning with the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. May I now request Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, Pro Vice Chancellor, Law, SRM-IST, and Professor Dr. Indranath Gupta, Dean, School of Law, SRM-IST, to accompany our guests for lighting the traditional lamp. Thank you, respected dignitaries. Our first speaker is a civil servant turned academic, bringing over 4 decades of experience across higher education, human rights, public service in India and abroad. An officer of the 1985 batch of the IAS and Allied Services, he has held key positions in the Ministry of Finance, the Prime Minister's office, and also served the National Human Rights Commission for over 12 years, working closely with former Chief Justice of India, Justice Mr. M.N. Venkatacharya, and Justice Mr. J.S. Verma. He has also worked with former Prime Minister Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, Pro Vice Chancellor, Law, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, to deliver the welcome address.
In creating this great institution. I also express our sincere gratitude to Pro-Chancellor Administration, Dr. Muthu. Our Pro-Chancellor Academics, Dr. P. Satyanarayanan, is a visionary leader. He has sent his best wishes for the success of this program. We thank him for SRM has over several decades, built a strong tradition of academic excellence, impactful research, innovation, and meaningful collaborations. At SRM, we firmly believe in providing a truly multidisciplinary learning environment. Our founder Chancellor, Dr. T.R. Parivender's vision is to nurture outstanding legal professionals who will one day become a judge of the Madras High Court or the Supreme Court of India, or a distinguished legal practitioner, corporate leader, policy maker, and a leader in various walks of life. Dear students and parents, I understand that you have had several options, but you chose to join the SRM School of Law. I wish to assure you that you have made the right choice. While presenting the first identity card to a student from the BCom LLB program, Mr. Harit Kumar, a few days back, I was pleasantly surprised to find that he secured admission in top 2 law schools of the country. I don't want to name them, but his father did some research on SRM School of Law, dean and faculty, and based on that research, chose our law school. We are deeply thankful to him and other parents for the trust reposed in us. I congratulate every student and every parent present here today for becoming a part of the SRM family. Ladies and gentlemen, SRM School of Law's biggest strength is its faculty. Can I request all faculty members to once stand up? I want you to please sit down. We have carefully selected an outstanding team of faculty members with qualifications from some of the finest institutions in India and abroad. Each one of them is an accomplished academic and an inspiring role model. In addition, we have developed an ambitious strategic vision and action plan to provide our students with a rich and transformative learning experience. Our objective is to instill in our students a passion for lifelong learning while equipping them with practical professional skills through carefully curated core and elective courses. At SRM, we believe in accessibility, we believe in academic excellence, we believe in providing the finest possible learning experience. We believe in creating opportunities through scholarships, internships, research, national and international collaborations. We believe in opening doors of opportunity for every student. We place great emphasis on experiential learning. As part of the curriculum, we want our students to engage with real-world legal issues at the grassroots level and develop practical legal solutions while learning the law. This will include visits to prisons, legal aid camps, legal service authorities, women's homes, district courts, the High Court, and several other such institutions that provide invaluable practical exposure. We are also building a comprehensive internship database comprising hundreds of organizations. We have recently signed MOUs with Trust Legal and several leading corporate law firms, enabling our students to undertake useful internships. In the course of next week, I am traveling to Baroda and Delhi, and I am signing about 10 MOUs, which will open further doors opportunities. Further, we are establishing collaborations with leading international universities to offer learning opportunities through student exchange programs, semester abroad options. I am confident that our students will make best use of these opportunities. Last year, we successfully hosted Lexposium, which was attended by Honorable Chief Justice of India, several judges of the Supreme Court, and many eminent legal luminaries. We are committed to continuing this tradition. Throughout the year, we will organize distinguished public lectures, seminars, conferences, and academic discussions in which leading experts from will share their knowledge, insights and experiences with our students and faculty. A truly vibrant academic environment awaits you. We plan to establish several specialized research centers in emerging areas such as technology, law, intellectual property rights, artificial intelligence and other cutting-edge fields. Our students will actively participate in these research centers, enabling them to strengthen their research and analytical skills. In fact, our chief guests will launch our Center for Human Rights Studies and the Center for International Humanitarian Law and Refugee Law today. Our aspiration is to see future legal icons emerge from this institution. Advocates and leaders of the stature of Ram Jethmalani, Fali Nariman, Soli Sorachi, Harish Shalve and many other such eminent persons. Recently, 4 of our alumni were elected as members of the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. We hope to witness many more such remarkable successes in the years ahead. For all of this to become a reality, dear students, you must pursue this professional program with sincerity, discipline, and complete dedication. Set your goals early, attend every class regularly, and maintain 100% attendance. Maximize every learning opportunity, and remain focused throughout your academic journey. Dear students, I have been deeply inspired by Swami Vivekananda, who said, and I quote, "Take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, let the brain, muscles, nerves, and every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone, and that is the way to success," unquote. Dear students, as you embark upon your professional educational journey today, I warmly welcome each one of you to the SRM School of Law. I am confident that each one of you will seize the opportunities and excel, truly living up to the SRM motto, learn, lead, lead. I wish each one of you success in your academic and professional journey. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Murthy, for your welcome address. It is time to felicitate the chief guest and guest of honor. May I call upon Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, Pro Vice Chancellor Law, SRMIST, and Dr. S. Ponnuswamy, Registrar, SRMIST, to felicitate the chief guest by presenting him with a memento as a token of our appreciation.
Dilna.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the Pro VC and the Dean to present the memento to Mr. Vivek Sriram. Thank you. Now I request our Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice V. Ramasubramanian, to kindly launch the Center for Human Rights Study by releasing a poster of the center. The Center for Human Rights Study will identify important challenges, undertake action research, and publish reports, organize seminars, conferences, and other events on issues relating to human rights. It will be directed by Professor Y.S.R. Murthy. I also request our chief guest to kindly launch the Center for International Humanitarian Law and Refugee Law. In the backdrop of several international and non-international armed conflicts and displacement, there is an urgent need to identify critical challenges and undertake research on issues relating to humanitarian law and refugee law. The Center for HL and Refugee Law will do all of this and also engage in policy advocacy. It will be directed by Professor Anuradha Sai Baba, Faculty, School of Law, SRM Institute.
Next, in our agenda is the release of annual report of SRM School of Law 2025 to 2026. This report reflects the collective efforts, milestones, and accomplishments of the past year, a testimony to the dedication, innovation, and resilience of our School of Law. To formally unveil the annual report, I invite our esteemed dignitaries on stage to do the honor. I also request Dr. R. Keerthanam, Dr. Aarti, and student coordinators to join the stage.
எதுக்கு ரெண்டு போட்டோ
Thank you. Our next speaker, Mr. Vivek Sriram, graduated with the BBA LLB Honours from the National Law University, Jodhpur, and went on to pursue an LLM Honours from the Northwestern University, Pritzker School of Law, Chicago, equipping him with a strong global perspective on corporate and commercial law. He is a partner at Kaitan & Co. Chennai, one of India's leading full-service law firms with a practice focused on mergers and acquisitions, private equity, venture capital, joint ventures, corporate restructuring, and cross-border commercial transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Vivek Sriram, partner, Kaitan & Co. Chennai.
Hi, good afternoon and thank you for having me over here. It's a privilege to share the dais with Justice Ram Subramaniam and Justice Resan and everybody else here. So when I was collecting my thoughts in terms of what I'm going to speak, I realized I'm probably the least experienced of the people on the dais. So I'm going to but I realized that's probably going to be an advantage here. So I thought I'd keep this conversation short and maybe give everybody here a snippet in terms of what I thought maybe I wanted to hear when I was in my first year of law school. So maybe I had like 4 points and I'll keep this short. I think the first most important thing that I learned in retrospect is to come into law school with an open mind. I don't think we as a legal profession are constrained in terms of this is what you need to do, litigation is the only way to go, or this is the only practice available. I think where the Indian legal industry stands today, in general, I think you have a wide array of options. So I think first snippet of advice, if you may call it that, is use the next 5 years to explore. Look at law as a big building with multiple rooms. Look at exploring each room in terms of, and I think you have a cushion of 5 years to fall, make mistakes, figure out what you like, what you don't like before you make a decision. So I think that's something that's worked for me. I hope some of it resonates with some of you over a period of time. The second piece that I feel that law school gives you a great foundation for is really use the time to write and orate. I feel a lot of times this is the transition from school to law school is a jump. The ability to kind of look at something, formulate your thoughts, and maybe put that down in writing hones your own skills in terms of clarity of thought and things like that. Not a lot of us may have had the opportunity to maybe do public speaking back in school, or if you were like me, you would have probably avoided it like the plague. But if you entered law school and this is what you want to do for your life, somebody is going to pay you tomorrow to speak or write. So I think the ability to kind of hone your writing skills and speak with clarity are going to be your weapons down the line. So I think use that time, write articles, and use the next 5 years to really hone that once before you really decide what you want to do in terms from a profession. The third point really is, I feel, utilizing internships and planning them. Speak to people. You have friends, you have family, you have professors, and have a path towards what you're doing vis-a-vis your internships, and really utilizing your internships to get a sense of what actual practice is about. It could be court, it could be a law firm, it could be a company, it's whatever. And it goes back to point one in terms of just exploring various methods of practice that is available today, and picking areas that are of interest. And fourth would really be, and I call it weathering the storm. Something that, so I think this is one of those professions where having a bad day tends to be ordinary course, and really what makes the difference is having a bad day but having the courage to get up the next day and go back and start afresh. You could prepare for a week for a matter and then realize it's getting adjourned the next day. You could have a terrible negotiation one day where you have examples where people have missed commas and deals have tanked. But I think it's part and parcel of what the job is about, and I think this is a good time to start thinking about those things and using the next 5 years to really toughen up, maybe, if you may call it that. And really, and one limit.
So sorry. Good night. Traffic has discussed.
And really the last thing I'd just like to say is this is not a race. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more wisdom from everybody else on the dais at this point of time. But it's really about don't be in a rush. Take your time in terms of figuring out what is it that you really enjoy doing. And actually just make sure that, in my personal view, I think the friendships and the relationships that you build over the next 5 years are going to hold you in good stead for the rest of your life. The person sitting next to you could be a judge. Somebody on this side could be a counterpart in another matter at some time down the line. So this tends to be also a profession built on relationships. So be kind to one another and build those relationships. They'll tend to hold you in good stead down the line. This has worked for me. I hope it does for you. Yeah, so that's really all I had to say. Like I said, I'm going to let a lot more wisdom flow in with everybody else who's going to speak to you. Thank you for your time, and all the best, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Most importantly, our guest of honor has arrived. Now I request Professor Dr. Indranath Gupta, Dean, School of SRM to present the memento to the Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. A.R.L. Sundaresan. Our next dignitary is one of India's most distinguished constitutional lawyers and currently serves as the Additional Solicitor General of India at the Madras High Court with an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades. He has appeared in numerous landmark constitutional, civil, commercial, public law matters before the High Court and Supreme Court of India, representing the Union Government and several constitutional authorities. Renowned for his exceptional advocacy, profound legal scholarship, and impeccable courtroom presence, he is widely respected across the Indian legal fraternity. A graduate in law from Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Chennai, he built his career through decades of dedication, intellectual excellence, and unwavering commitment to the rule of law. His journey remains an inspiration to every aspiring lawyer, a reminder that integrity, hard work, and perseverance are the true hallmarks of a successful legal career. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. A.R.L. Sundaresan, Additional Solicitor General of India, Madras High Court.
Very good afternoon to all the intellectuals on the dais, off the dais, parents and young students. Before I start, I would just like to say I'm really thankful that I rushed in before the other counsel completed the argument and the judges said judgment reserved, no further argument. I'm sorry I was a little late. I miscalculated the time that I may need to reach here. I thought it will be 1 hour, it was 1 hour 20 minutes. About 2 months back, the Dean of the college called me and said that we are going to have an induction program for the new students and they would like to invite me. I could not say no because I know how nice it will be when you are entering into a law college and how I felt when I entered into the law college in 1985. So seeing the young students here was really something which I was looking forward and I accepted immediately. And the other thing he said was, the other guest who will be here is Justice Ram Subramanian. And I can now tell openly that what I am today as ASG was mooted by Justice Ram Subramanian. And it is through Honorable Judge that they asked, will you be interested if it is accepted? I said, what is this? I will be longing for it. And I thank the Honorable Judge for having given me that opening, which I am continuing for the past 4.5 years. Coming to the occasion, all the students who are now going to step into the college, you are moving from your school days into college days. After 5 years, you'll be moving to the next step of the courtrooms, or firms, or banks, or institutions. So far as the profession is concerned, as my friend had just spoke, it's all about commitment, integrity, and hard work. And all those who are either the first generation lawyers or persons who are children of existing lawyers and judges, in my thinking, it makes no difference. Whether you're a first generation lawyer or your parents are already there, whatever it may be, unless you do the hard work, unless you do you show the commitment, unless you have that integrity, you are not going to come up. Therefore, only thing which is required is a first generation lawyer needs a place to get in, to start working. And once you get the place to start working, then you should be missed in that place by your senior. If you go into an office, the senior should always keep thinking, when is this boy going to come? When is this girl going to come? I need some help from her. You should become indispensable to them. The attachment which you should build with your senior should be such that they would, Justice Kalifullah would say, his senior, Mr. T.S. Gopalan, was always calling Kalifullah, Kalifullah. But after another junior, one Mr. Ravindran, who is now a very well-known senior in labor field, after he came, he started asking, Ravi, enga irukka? So he becomes closer. By then, Justice Kalifullah, as an advocate, he became senior. Therefore, he did not mind. But that is the rapport which you should build with your senior, with the colleagues in the office. And at the young age, you should be the first to go to office and the last to come out of the office. And if you have that commitment, then definitely you have come up 2 steps or 3 steps. After that, it is only the interaction with the client in the presence of your seniors. Thereafter, when you set up separate practice after 3 years or 4 years, the clients will come to you, you will get more engagements. And this is a profession where you cannot advertise, you should not advertise, and it's only by word of mouth. You do one case well, that client will be telling someone. The judgments where you're appearing are reported. Nowadays, clients come by seeing the internet or the SEC or some online who has argued such cases on many occasions. Therefore, this is how you will start building. It's all about the confidence which the client has in you. Therefore, you do one very, very well, you will get 2 more. You do 2 well, you will get 4 more. Like that, you will have to build up your practice. And at no point of time, you should try to have sharp practices. Sharp practices, getting orders by suppressing facts, getting orders by forum shopping, filing one case in one court, one case in the other court. And if you lose the confidence of the judge on one occasion, judges openly say that this will be in my mind next time when you appear before me. Therefore, be true on facts. Try to make out your point and convince the court. Never try to get some order somehow or other for the purpose of satisfying that client on that day. In the long run, that will not help you. And these are all things which you will learn more and more as you come. There are rules that have been framed by the Bar Council for ethics. There is a duty towards court, duty to your opponent, duty to your client. All that you will have to imbibe in yourself. Start following all this even during the days when you are in the colleges. And the day when we were studying and the facilities which you are now having, it is much, much, much better, which you all should be happy and you should be prepared to take advantage of all that. We were studying in the law college, which is near the High Court. It is just a one building premises. You are now in a very massive premises where You have chance to interact with so many people. You have moot courts. You have opportunities for state level, national level, international level. There are so many libraries, so many symposiums that are conducted. Therefore, the opportunities which the management is giving, the opportunities which your lecturers are giving are all much more. The parents are also a little more liberal nowadays. Therefore, take advantage of all the facilities which are available to you. You have the libraries, you have the online, you have all study material, and enjoy the study for 5 years and then start working hard with integrity and come up in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful and inspiring address. It is now my proud privilege to introduce our esteemed chief guest for today's program. Honorable Mr. Justice V. Ramasubramanian currently serves as the chairperson of National Human Rights Commission of India and is a former judge of the Supreme Court of India. Justice Ramasubramanian began his distinguished legal career as an advocate before being elevated to the bench of the Madras High Court. He later served as the Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court before being appointed as the judge of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, where he went on to order 102 judgments across a wide range of subjects before his retirement in 2023. A true scholar beyond the courtroom, Justice Ramasubramanian also carries a deep love for the Tamil language and its literature, reflected in his book Kambanil Sattamum Neediyum, a study of law and justice through the lens of Kamba-Ramayanam. Throughout his judicial career, he has delivered several landmark judgments across constitutional law, civil law, commercial law, taxation, intellectual property, technology law, and human rights. His judgments are widely appreciated for their clarity, depth of legal reasoning, and commitment to constitutional values. Following his retirement from the Supreme Court, he was appointed as a chairperson of National Human Rights Commission, where he continues to uphold the ideals of justice, dignity, and protection of human rights. For every aspiring lawyer seated in this auditorium today, Justice Ramasubramanian's journey stands as a reflection of dedication, scholarship, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to justice. We are deeply honored by his gracious presence among us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you all to join me in extending a warm welcome to our esteemed chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice V. Ramasubramanian.
Respected Professor Y.S.R. Murthy, the Pro-Chancellor of this university, distinguished Dean, Registrar, faculty members, my good friend, the Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Sundaresan, Mr. Vivek Sriram, dear students and proud parents, at the outset, I congratulate all the students who have chosen to join law and who are now present here for this induction program. I think probably you and your parents have made the best decision in your life. The reason why I say this is, today you know the country is boiling because of something. I think fortunately none of you students took that examination and suffered. Mr. Sundaresan, ASG, talked about miscalculation of time. One of the lessons that I learned today is that miscalculation of time can produce two extremely opposite results. I was told today morning that it will take 1 hour and 20 minutes. Therefore, I was ready by 12:30. Then somehow I postponed it and I started at 1 o'clock. I reached almost at 1:50 here. So my miscalculation of time brought me 40 minutes in advance to this campus, and his miscalculation of time brought him half an hour later to this campus. So the moral of the story is that wrong things can sometimes produce right results, and the right things can produce sometimes wrong results. Mr. Vivek Sriram repeatedly said, you are going to hear a lot of words of wisdom from other people. I was really worried. Because what my teachers taught in my college days was that people with a lot of wisdom don't talk. And he also added that people who talk have no wisdom. There is a Tamil proverb, Kandavar Vindila, Vindavar Kandila. Therefore, I did not know whether I should talk or not. If I wanted to prove that I am a man of wisdom, I should not speak. If I speak, then I would prove that I am not a man of wisdom. This is the dilemma that as lawyers you will face every day. That's one of the morals that you have to learn. But before I get into, I don't really wish to give a piece of advice. I think that Gen Z, they don't like advices. I used to tell parents, don't give any advice to students, children. Children don't listen, they don't follow what you say, but they do what you do. The problem with parents is that we give them a lot of advice, but we ourselves don't follow anything in our life. Therefore, children have nothing to learn from us. So I don't really believe in giving you advice, but I believe in giving some tips, as Mr. Vivek Sriram said, some snippets. I want to ask you, how many of you who have joined law from the students, this question is addressed to the students, how many of you have somebody in the family as a lawyer? Please raise your hands. Only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. How many of you have nobody as a lawyer in your family? Excellent. I think the majority are first generation lawyers. I am a first generation lawyer. I did not have anybody as a lawyer in my family. And another advantage I have is I am also the last generation lawyer. I don't have anybody following me in the law profession, because I thought I have set a bad example, probably they thought. Though the additional solicitor general said that whether it is the first generation lawyer or the second generation lawyer, the race has got to be run by you. That is correct. To that extent, I agree with you. Suppose you are the child of an Olympian gold medalist. You don't get the gold medal because you are the son of a daughter of a gold medalist. You have to run the race. But certainly, the second generation, third generation lawyers start with some kind of an advantage. Or I put it as a disadvantage. The advantage that they have is that they have an office to enter into. They already have a flavor of what is law, what is the legal profession. But the disadvantage that they have is that they tend to think that everything comes on a platter to them. Therefore, the incentive to do hard work is not there. In fact, Mr. Sundaresan used to be one complete exception. I used to tell people, if I was in his position, I will never work. Because everything was available, but he made an exception. So if you are a first generation lawyer, in fact in my farewell, reply to the farewell address in the Supreme Court, I retired along with 2 other judges. One judge who retired along with me was the son of a former judge of the Supreme Court. Another judge who retired along with me was the son of a very leading civil lawyer. So when it came to my turn, everybody addressed me as a first generation lawyer. Then when I gave a reply to the farewell, I said, I had the advantage of being the first generation lawyer. Mr. So also had the disadvantage of being the son of an illustrious former Supreme Court judge. I did not have the disadvantage. Mr. So also had a disadvantage of being the son of a very leading civil lawyer. I did not have the disadvantage because I carried no baggage and it was all open to me to prove myself. So if you have this kind of a thinking to begin with, I think it will augur well for you. question that I would like to ask all of you. Why have you chosen law? If nobody in your family is a lawyer, why have all of you chosen law? When I chose law in 1978, it was not a choice that I made out of passion for law. I did BSc chemistry. I did not perform well. So I could not get into MSc. I could not get into any other program. Therefore, when I got into Madras Law College, it was not out of choice, but because I was left with no other choice. There is a difference between choosing and landing up without any choice. And the law college those days, as ASG pointed out, was a place meant only for two things: fun and politics. It was not meant for education. Certainly not legal education. When I entered law college, I found all persons who joined law college. I wouldn't say they were all students. Some of them were in their 30s also. They were all either already politicians or aspiring politicians. So it was full of fun, no legal education. My legal education actually started only after I joined a law firm, after completing law. This is one profession where your education begins only after you begin your career as a lawyer, not when you are in the law college. But I don't think there is any other profession in this country which pays so much of dividends. There is no other profession which pays so much of dividends. Let me give you some statistics. See, there are three professions which all of us are really very familiar with, law, engineering, medicine. Let us make a comparison of all these three professions. Who graduates in medicine? Who graduates in engineering? Who graduates in law? 2022-23 statistics. I have not updated my statistics. I'll give you the statistics. There are about 706 medical colleges in the country. It's about 2 years ago. Maybe there are 750 or 800 nearly today. These medical colleges, 700 to 750 medical colleges, they produce about 110,000 medical graduates every year. Keep that in mind. There are about 3,500 engineering colleges, about 3,400 polytechnics, and about 200 design and architectural colleges in India. Almost about 7,000 institutions. They produce together about 20 lakhs engineering graduates every year, in comparison to about 110,000 medical graduates. And coming to law, as of 2022, there were about 1,721 law colleges and including universities, like this university, 1,721 or something like, nearly that range. And all of them together produce about, I think the Bar Council state that about 1.5 lakh students enroll into law. So if 1.1 lakh students become medical graduates, 1.5 lakh students become law graduates, 20 lakh students become engineers. Immediately after they complete the basic degree in engineering, in law, in medicine, what happens to them? Let us take, for instance, examples of 3 students. One who has completed MBBS, one who has completed law, one who has completed engineering graduation alone. If they go to the employment market, what happens to them in the employment market? A medical graduate, I am sure the teachers, students and parents present here would agree with me that it is impossible to get into medical college because it's so tough. And it is impossible to study there and get out because it's so overwhelming. But after that, after putting your head in the mill, preparing for getting into medical college, and in getting out of medical college after 5.5 years, if you don't pursue a postgraduate course, an MBBS graduate may get about 20,000 or 25,000 per month if he doesn't pursue a postgraduate course. An engineering graduate, we'll take a bright engineering graduate, if he stops only with BE, he may land up with a job about 30,000 rupees per month. And in fact, if he gets into IT industry, sometimes they may be asked to sit on the bench. On the bench in IT industry means that you have no work. In fact, I used to take exception to that statement because I have been sitting on the bench for 20 years. So people should not think that I was not allotted any work and I was sitting on the bench. So about 30,000. And what about a law graduate? Today, the law kept on changing for the past about 5 years as to whether a fresh law graduate can become a civil judge at the entry level or not. Suppose the law tomorrow is that you are entitled to become a civil judge entry level immediately after completion of a law degree, after taking an examination. Do you know, you start with a pay pocket of 1.4 lakhs. So, the more difficult a course is for entry, completely disproportionate pay. Comparatively, a less strenuous process of getting admission produces you more rewards. This is what life is all about. In fact, Mr. Vivek Sriram mentioned about bad days as a lawyer. The MC Settlewal, who was one of the greatest lawyers that this country had produced, he said something very interesting. When he was at the peak of his career, he said something to the young lawyers. He said, in the first half of my career, I lost cases which I should have won. In the second half of my career, I won cases which I should have lost. என்னுடைய தொழிலில் முன் பாதியில் நான் வெற்றி பெற வேண்டிய வழக்குகளில் தோற்றுப் போனேன். என் தொழிலில் பின்பாதியில் நான் தோற்றுப் போக வேண்டிய வழக்குகளில் வெற்றி பெற்றேன். After all, overall justice was done என்று அவர் முடித்தார். So 50 plus 50, overall justice was done. He concluded. So life is all about this. And as a lawyer, what should you do? As the additional solicitor general pointed out, it's all about hard work. See, in sports, what happens is you realize the importance of hard work in sports because you have to perform. The question of luck plays a very little part. The question of luck plays a little part in making another person get the gold medal in a fraction of a second. Otherwise, in terms of hard work, both are equal. But in professions, it is not the case. Somebody may succeed by sheer luck. But I always used to tell people that the one thing that we should all remember in mind is you may be, in comparison, you may not have the same level of intellectual attainment with somebody. In terms of wealth, you may not have the same level of achievement. But in terms of industry, which is entirely within your control, you can ensure that nobody stands in comparison with you. That is one thing that can really make a difference between who you are. I always used to think today the world is becoming extremely complex now. In this extremely complex world, I think every family today should compulsorily have one doctor, one lawyer, and one psychological counselor. I think the third one, I think, is becoming, a necessity these days for every family, because we find the most brilliant students suffering a lot of stress. So whenever I go to colleges, I tell them, don't be the most intelligent student. It is better to maintain your emotional quotient on par with your intellectual quotient. If your intellectual quotient is extremely disproportionate and your emotional quotient is inversely proportionate to the intellectual quotient, you are prone to suffer stress, which destroys all the successes that you have. So what is important is the lawyer should know his goal. Where does he go? Law is, after all, something that teaches you what is right and what is wrong. When asked to give a definition of law, Blackstone said, it is a science which distinguishes the criterion of right and wrong, which teaches to establish the one and prevent, punish and redress the other. Many people used to ask me, sir, why do we need lawyers? After all, the clients know the facts of the case much better than the lawyers. Every time the judge asks a question, the lawyer turns towards the client to ask what happened. Why should lawyers be there as intermediaries between a judge and the litigant? Have you ever thought about it? Why do we need lawyers? Don't say we need lawyers to, tell lies to the court. That's not the object. There is a very interesting story about why we need lawyers. 3 persons, while they were traveling a long distance by car, they checked into a motel in the evening to take rest overnight. They had some cash. They deposited the cash with the manager and told them that we are depositing the cash together. So when we leave, you must hand over the cash to all the 3 of us together. The motel manager agreed. After 2-3 days, they went out. They went out in the morning, early morning. They came back, only 2 of them came back in the evening. So these 2 of them checked out of the motel and they asked for a refund of the cash deposited, return of the cash deposited. The hotel manager asked, where is the other person? They said, the other person, we have left him in a restaurant. We are going to go there to take dinner before we leave. This manager of the motel believed these 2 persons, handed over the cash. After these 2 persons left, the 3rd person came and said, what happened to my friends? The manager said, they have left. Then what happened to the cash? Manager said, they have taken it. This person went to court and said, all the 3 of us joined together and deposited the cash. We gave instructions to return the cash only when all the 3 of us asked. But this manager has returned the cash to 2. Therefore, I am entitled to have the money. The person, hotel manager, did not engage a lawyer. He thought he can argue the case himself. He stood up and the judge asked him, is it true that all the 3 jointly deposited the money? He said yes. Is it true that you were instructed to return the money only when all the 3 asked you? He said yes. Is it true that you have handed over the money to 2 of them? He said yes. Then what is your defense? You have to pay the money. The manager did not have an answer. Then there was a lawyer standing by his side and said, "Sir, do you want my assistance?" The manager said, "No, what assistance can you give me?" He said, "No, I can certainly give you assistance, but for a fee." This manager agreed. Then the lawyer stood up and said, "Sir, my client is prepared to pay the money." This manager was shocked. This is not the purpose for which I had engaged a lawyer. In any case, the judge would have asked me to return the money. Why is this man conceding? When he pulled the lawyer said, "Don't worry." He told the judge, "My client is prepared to pay the money. Ask this petitioner to come along with his two friends, then we will pay the money." That was the end of the case. The case got dismissed. This is the reason why you need a lawyer. You don't need a lawyer to twist facts, to tell a lie, to somehow win a case. But to tell the court what is the point in your favor. Most of the times, why do we fail? Why do we fail is aptly described in 2 sentences in a poem composed about 2 centuries ago by Adiveera Ramapandian, who was born in, who was a king and a poet. Adiveera Ramapandian, he said, why do we lose a case? 2 centuries ago he said, "பொய்யுடை ஒருவன் சொல்வன்மையினால் மெய்போலுமே மெய்போலுமே மெய்யுடை ஒருவன் சொல்ல மாட்டாமையால் பொய்போலுமே பொய்போலுமே." What does that mean? Now I think for our younger generation, we need a translation from Tamil to Tamil. Otherwise it's not possible for them to understand. And especially when we talk from poetry, they understand SMS, WhatsApp language much better than poetry. For us, SMS and WhatsApp messages become Sangam literature. We don't understand. Our generation. It's impossible. பொய்யுடை ஒருவன் சொல்வன்மையினால். Even if you are in possession of a false case, சொல்வன்மையினால், because of your ability to speak well, மெய்போலுமே மெய்போலுமே, you make it appear as though it is true. That is bad part of it. The better part of it is, மெய்யுடை ஒருவன், the person who has got a good case, சொல்ல மாட்டாமையால், because he doesn't know how to put it across, பொய்போலுமே பொய்போலுமே, it appears to be a false case. Therefore, this is why I think you need lawyers. The last thing I wish to say is that, why have you chosen law? Is it because you want status, you want money, you want power, or you want to serve society? I want to ask this question. How many of you have chosen law to serve society? Only one person has raised his hand. Oh, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I am happy. No, one person is raising 2 hands. I don't want it. But why people are raising half a hand? See, it must be. I mean, if you want to do service, it must be wholehearted. Your hand should be raised. Okay, I think one child which cried also is raising hand. So I think all of you have understood the question correctly. It is all about service. It's not just about making money. Now I will end up with a very interesting story about a North Carolina lawyer. A North Carolina lawyer, he bought a very, very costly carton of cigars and insured them. The insurance policy unfortunately covered fire risk also. It was a cigar, it covered fire risk. After smoking all the cigars, he lodged an insurance claim. The insurance company was aghast. Then the insurance company said, "How can we pay you?" Then the judge said, "He has insured against fire. How can you deny?" So the company had to pay money. They paid money, but they took a very sweet revenge. After paying money, they lodged a complaint against the lawyer for setting fire intentionally to a property which was insured with them. Therefore, the lawyer was sent to jail. So, it's a very, very tricky profession where everything matters and sometimes nothing matters. But what matters is your character ultimately. Thank you very much.
we have with us Professor Dr. Indra Gupta, Dean, School of Law, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, former professor at the Jindal Global Law School and Dean, Office of Data, Innovation and Technology at OP Jindal Global University. He has held the Jean Monnet Chair and has been a visiting research fellow at the Centre for Intellectual Property and Management, Bournemouth University, UK. To propose the vote of thanks, I now invite our Dean, School of Law, SRM IST.
Thank you very much. It has been a real pleasure, a moment to cherish. And I'm sure, we all have enjoyed and have thoughtfully observed what all our speakers have said. So this induction program, serves as a prelude to what is to come for the duration of your degree. And I'm talking to students, by giving you key insights into the working of the School of Law. Now that is loaded, but you will soon realize that what we have to do, of course, will be there to guide you further. So there is nothing to worry about, but induction program is just when you've been introduced formally to the law school. Dear students, your journey as a student of law in this university and School of Law begins now. So we look forward to working together. At the outset, I wish to thank our Honorable Founder Chancellor, Dr. T.R. Parivinder. I also extend my sincere gratitude to Pro-Chancellor Administration, Dr. Ravi Pachamuthu, and Pro-Chancellor Academics, Dr. P. Satyanarayan. Your constant encouragement will always be a source of inspiration for all of us. Unfortunately, the Honorable Vice Chancellor couldn't be a part of this program today. He's traveling, as Professor Murthy said. Professor Vice Chancellor, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Dr. C. Muthamal Shelvan, thank you so very much for your constant support, sir. As we conclude our induction program, I would like to extend my gratitude for the reverend guests who imparted valuable knowledge and inspired the new batch of the first years. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Honorable Chairperson, National Human Rights Commission of India and former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Mr. Justice V. Ramasubramanian. Additional Solicitor General of India, Madras High Court, Mr. A.R.L. Sundaresan. I think we should have a good round of applause. Thank you. Partner Khaitan and Co. Chennai, Mr. Vivek Sriram. You all have taken time out of your busy schedule on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you for this, making this afternoon memorable. Thank you so very much. Your thought-provoking words will continue to motivate us for a very long time, and all of us really. Pro-Vice Chancellor Law, Professor Dr. Y.S.R. Murthy, Registrar Dr. S. Polusamy, Additional Registrar Dr. T. Maithili, your continuous support have helped us and will continue to help us to build this law school. Thank you so very much. Thank you to the deans and directors from various schools of SRM IST. Dear parents, guardians, and students, thank you for reposing trust on SRM School of Law. We look forward to working together. I also would like to thank the faculty members on the induction committee. And believe me, it took us a lot of time, but we were able to, and I'm sure you enjoyed it, every moment of it. We were able to do it because a lot of us came together. At times, it is quite difficult to read all the names and remember all the names, but I'll try to do it. So this committee was headed by Dr. Raj Khanna for spearheading the entire program. And of course, he was supported by several of my other colleagues in the law school, like Dr. Maria Fatima, Mr. M. Jaganesh, Professor Kaliyaresi, Dr. Mahit, Mr. Nishant, Dr. Divya, Suganya, Dr. Suganya, Dr. Zora, and all other, there are many actually. So we are about 65 of us, so all of us really. And all other faculty members, research scholars, student volunteers, and I could meet some of them actually from senior batches. Thank you very much. Wherever you are, you have done a great job, who contributed to the success of this event. I also must thank those soldiers who work day and night to make this happen. Would like to thank the non-teaching staff members. A big round of applause for Rajeshwari, Swati, Dr. Prabhakaran, Rajita, Pandian, Kasturi, Dinesh, the applause shouldn't stop. Sangeeta, Janki, Mani, Ramesh, Lakshmi, and Taj, and many more. There are others who have extended immeasurable support. I can see Edmund somewhere. I can see IT and AV services colleagues somewhere. I can see the admissions office out there. Thank you so very much. I can see somewhere human resource office. I can see communication team. Thank you so very much. I can see IR team. Thank you. And of course, there are many of our research scholars and other students who have been MCs. Amrita, Avantika, Durga, a big thank you. And you know, I have read out all the names, but I'm sure there are many others. A thank you to one and all. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There is a small announcement for the freshers here. You have an orientation program on 27 July, 9 to 4 p.m. at TP Ganeshan Auditorium, Mini Hall 1. Please note down at TP Ganeshan Auditorium, Mini Hall 1, 27 July, 9 to 4.
As we draw the formal proceedings to a close, I now request everyone present to kindly rise for the singing of the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलति तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जाहे तब शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तब जय गादा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you everyone.